Did you know that life itself is meaningless? It's you who gives it meaning. Today we're diving into a topic that might seem a bit unconventional at first, but stick with me. It's all about how life is inherently meaningless and how you can create your own meaning to support a wonderful future. Now, before you hit that pause button, let me assure you that stating that life is meaningless isn't a negative thought. In fact, it's quite freeing. So let's start with the idea that life is made up of situations that are, until we give them emotion, quite neutral. Understanding that life situations are literally meaningless can actually empower you to create your own meaning and live in a much more satisfying way. First and foremost, it's crucial to recognize that situations in life are neither good nor bad, no matter what they are. They're inherently neutral. It's us, the people, who assign meaning to these experiences by attaching emotions to them. For instance, when something happens, we often label it good or bad. However, the situations themselves are just that, situations. They exist to evoke emotions, but they don't automatically possess any meaning. And the meanings we give them aren't necessarily for our own highest good. Why is this important to know? Because the way you perceive any situation shapes your reality. The meaning you give it shapes your reality. Nothing outside of you truly exists in the way you think it does. Your reality is a construct of how you feel about your experiences. And here's the fascinating part. We all experience life differently. This means that two people can encounter the same situation and walk away with entirely different interpretations and feelings. You've seen this before, and guess what? They're both right. Nothing illustrates this better than families. No two children in the same family experience their life in the same way, even though they were brought up with the same parents. My sister and I are a great example of this. Of course, they may have shared experiences, but ultimately their feelings about each situation in their lives differs. And this creates a different reality for each. As they grow up, they take the beliefs that these experiences create with them. It makes up the lens through which they see life. This happens to all of us, and most of it is subconscious. However, these experiences don't need to affect our lives forever. We can create a new meaning for each of these experiences in our life. Now, there's a key component when creating your own meaning in life, and that is the power of focus. When you understand that situations are meaningless or have no assigned meaning, you gain the freedom to choose how you interpret your experiences. This doesn't affect how others see it. We all perceive differently. So rather than looking at situations you have no control over and pondering the futility of it all, you can focus on what's happening in your life that you do have some influence over, and make choices to perceive those situations in a way that support you. How do you know if you're assigning an emotion that supports you? Well, you're smiling. Outwardly, inwardly, you're feeling good. There's no justification needed. This perspective allows you to take control of your emotions and reactions to transform your future from one of feeling like a victim to one that's empowered towards your highest calling. That's your passion, your excitement. So instead of being a passive recipient of your own life's events, you become an active participant in shaping your reality. You have much more power than you realize. Imagine the emotional freedom that comes with this realization. It means you are no longer bound by societal norms or expectations. You have the power to decide what matters to you and what doesn't. You can create a new framework on which to make emotional choices without justifying it to anybody else. simply by choosing to experience situations aligned with your highest vibration. It doesn't mean the situation changes, but the experience is different, and therefore your reality shifts to accommodate a new perspective. Easy, isn't it? This freedom enables you to focus on what truly brings you joy and happiness rather than being swayed by external influences. Whether those influences are family, media, politicians, or friends, they're not you. So, how do you start crafting your own meaning from everyday situations? It all begins with a bit of self-reflection. Pay attention to your automatic reactions when something happens. Somebody cuts you off in traffic, or you read an event in the news. Then ask yourself, is this reaction based on a universal truth, or is it just a belief I've picked up along the way? Do I need to think this is bad because somebody else has labelled it that way? Often we find ourselves on autopilot, reacting as we've been conditioned to through life's ups and downs. So take a moment to decide if the choices you're making truly serve your highest good. If they don't, you might be missing out on lots of your joy. This is an important moment to pause and think about what genuinely matters to you. What are your passions, values, and the things that bring you joy? Are you seeing your life through this focus? While creating your own meaning is a personal journey, all your relationships play a significant role in shaping your reality. On the positive side, the connections you form with others can provide supportive encouragement and a sense of belonging. But on the flip side, our connections from the past and also the present can provide our subconscious framework, like what will others think if I'm not upset by this? Or is it the right decision to make, but according to whom? Or am I really doing the right thing? It's surprising how many of our reactions are shaped by the opinions or even just the imagined opinions of those around us. Your mother may have passed away years ago, and yet you can still hear her judgments. These all shape your reality. I remember a time at our healing clinic when a family came in after losing a beloved father and grandfather. I asked the young teenager how she felt about her grandfather's passing. Well, she was both sad and happy for him because he was very sick. Later, when I spoke with her mother, who was visibly distraught, I noticed the guilt on the young girl's face. She felt guilty about her initial response and accepting his death as okay. The tragedy was that she seemed ready to change her feelings to align with her mother's grief. No longer was death going to be normal for her. It was going to have strong emotions of loss and anxiety. And while you might think that that's the right response, it wasn't a consciously chosen one. And more importantly, there was inner turmoil within because she knew it wasn't what her grandfather wanted. It might not make logical sense, but this is often how we set the boundaries for our experiences at a very early age. You always have a choice on the emotion you attach to each situation. And when you can recognize the emotion you're attaching automatically, that's really powerful. If you feel you don't have a choice, then your beliefs are getting in the way. And that's a topic for another day. I'll leave a link. So make a decision to see your world through the eyes of your higher self. You know it's why you came here, to embrace the divine through a physical experience. Of course, it's okay to share your thoughts, feelings, and experiences with others, but understand that they may still be stuck in an old cycle. So listen actively and empathetically to those around you without buying into their experiences and opinions. You're paving the way for them, setting an example they can aspire to. In this way, you'll find genuine connections with those who are also empowering their own lives. Life is a constant journey of change and growth. You're always being guided by your highest vibration. And when you consciously choose your emotional response, You can walk towards the light and never be afraid of the dark. It's a simple framework that will change your life. But know that every situation, whether you choose to experience it as positive or negative, offers an opportunity for growth. For this reason, don't be hard on yourself if you fall into old patterns. It's not a failure. We often need to know what we don't want so that we can identify the beliefs that no longer serve us. So embrace these experiences as opportunities to move forward. You see, by viewing challenges as opportunities for growth, you add depth and meaning to your own life. Understanding that every situation in life is meaningless is not a negative realization. Instead, it offers the freedom to create your own meaning and live your life in a way that is truly satisfying. I'm Gayle Maree from Six Dimensions of Healing.